Men are moved by two levers only: fear and self-interest. Napoleon Bonaparte. Most people believe that conversations are about exchanging information. That's a comforting lie. The truth is, every interaction is a subtle negotiation, a silent battle for influence. We're taught to listen to the words people say, but the real message lies beneath the surface, masked by carefully constructed personas and rehearsed lines. This isn't about paranoia, it's about awareness. It's about understanding that hidden agendas are the norm, not the exception. Ignoring this reality leaves you vulnerable, a pawn in someone else's game. You become a reactor, always responding to moves you didn't see coming, never initiating, never truly in control. Think of it like this. Imagine walking into a crowded room filled with players already deep into a complex game. They know the rules, the strategies, the unspoken alliances. You, on the other hand, are blindfolded, stumbling around, wondering why everyone else seems to be operating on a different frequency. That feeling of unease, of being slightly off-kilter, is the sensation of being manipulated. Hidden agendas are the invisible forces shaping the dynamics of every social encounter. They're the reasons why a seemingly innocent compliment might feel like a veiled insult, why a sudden offer of help leaves you feeling indebted, why a friendly smile doesn't quite reach the eyes. Learning to read these hidden agendas is about developing a second sense, a heightened awareness of the unspoken motives driving people's actions. It's about seeing through the carefully crafted facades and understanding the underlying desires and insecurities that fuel their behavior. This isn't about becoming cynical or distrustful of everyone you meet. It's about protecting yourself from those who would exploit your naivete, about leveling the playing field, about reclaiming your own power in a world where influence is the ultimate currency. Start by questioning everything. Don't take words at face value. Look for inconsistencies between what people say and what they do. Pay attention to their body language, their tone of voice, their subtle shifts in demeanor. These are the clues that will reveal the hidden agendas lurking beneath the surface. Understand that everyone has a motivation, a reason for acting the way they do. It might be as simple as seeking approval or as complex as pursuing a long-term strategic goal. The key is to identify that motivation and understand how it influences their behavior towards you. This is not an easy skill to master. It requires constant vigilance, careful observation, and a willingness to challenge your own assumptions. But the rewards are immense. By learning to read hidden agendas, you can navigate social situations with confidence, protect yourself from manipulation, and ultimately, take control of your own destiny. You will be able to anticipate your opponents, see their maneuvers before they materialize, and craft your own strategies to outwit them. It's about understanding the implicit contracts of social interactions and knowing when someone is attempting to rewrite the terms to their advantage. It's about seeing the chessboard, not just the individual pieces. Consider the person who constantly offers unsolicited advice. On the surface, they may appear helpful and concerned, but a closer look might reveal a hidden agenda, a desire to feel superior, to control the situation, or to undermine your confidence. Similarly, the person who showers you with compliments might be seeking to ingratiate themselves, to manipulate you into granting them a favor, or to distract you from their own shortcomings. The ability to discern these hidden agendas is crucial for maintaining healthy boundaries and protecting your own interests. Learn to recognize the common tactics used to manipulate others: guilt trips, flattery, emotional blackmail, and subtle threats. Understand the power dynamics at play in every interaction, and be aware of how others are attempting to exert influence over you. This is not about becoming a master manipulator yourself, but about developing the skills to defend yourself against those who are. It's about reclaiming your autonomy and making conscious choices about how you interact with the world. It requires a shift in perspective, a willingness to see beyond the surface, and a commitment to understanding the unspoken forces that shape our social interactions. Are you ready to see the world as it truly is? The human mind is a labyrinth of motivations, desires, and insecurities, a complex landscape where hidden agendas take root and flourish. Understanding the psychology behind these agendas requires a deep dive into the fundamental drivers of human behavior: the need for power, the desire for validation, and the fear of vulnerability. Consider the individual who consistently interrupts others in conversation. While they might attribute their behavior to mere enthusiasm or a fast-paced mind, a more critical analysis might reveal a deep-seated need to dominate the conversation, to assert their intellectual superiority, or to silence dissenting opinions. Their interruptions become a tool, a subtle but effective means of controlling the flow of information and maintaining their position of authority within the group. Similarly, the person who constantly seeks attention, who craves the spotlight and demands constant reassurance, might be driven by an underlying insecurity, a fear of being overlooked or forgotten. Their attention-seeking behavior becomes a coping mechanism, a way to fill the void of self-doubt and to validate their sense of worth. These hidden agendas often operate beneath the level of conscious awareness, driven by deeply ingrained psychological needs and fears. They are not necessarily malicious or intentionally manipulative, but they can have a significant impact on our interactions and relationships. The key is to develop the ability to recognize these patterns of behavior, to understand the underlying motivations, and to respond in a way that protects your own interests and boundaries. This requires a degree of emotional intelligence, the ability to empathize with others while remaining objective and discerning. It means understanding that everyone has their own set of needs and desires, and that these needs can sometimes lead them to act in ways that are not always transparent or straightforward. Consider the workplace environment, a breeding ground for hidden agendas and power struggles. The ambitious colleague who subtly undermines your work, who takes credit for your ideas, or who spreads rumors behind your back might be driven by a ruthless desire for advancement, a fear of competition, or a deep-seated insecurity about their own abilities. Their actions are not simply personal attacks, but rather calculated strategies designed to elevate their own position at your expense. To navigate these treacherous waters, you must be vigilant, observant, and strategic. You must learn to document your accomplishments, to build strong alliances, and to protect yourself from sabotage. It's not about becoming paranoid or distrustful, but about being realistic and prepared for the possibility of encountering hidden agendas. In personal relationships, the stakes can be even higher. The manipulative partner who uses guilt trips, emotional blackmail, or subtle threats to control your behavior might be driven by a deep-seated fear of abandonment, a need for power and control, or a lack of empathy for your feelings. Their actions can erode your self-esteem, undermine your independence, and leave you feeling trapped and powerless. To break free from these toxic dynamics, you must be willing to confront the underlying issues, to set clear boundaries, and to prioritize your own well-being. It's not about changing the other person, but about changing your own response to their behavior. It's about reclaiming your autonomy and creating healthy, respectful relationships based on mutual trust and understanding. Understanding the psychology of hidden agendas is not about becoming a cynical or suspicious person. It's about developing a deeper understanding of human nature, about recognizing the complexities and contradictions that drive our behavior, and about navigating the social landscape with greater awareness and resilience. It's about seeing the world not as you wish it to be, but as it truly is, with all its hidden agendas and unspoken motives. This awareness allows you to make more informed decisions, to protect yourself from manipulation, and to build stronger, more authentic relationships. It empowers you to take control of your own life and to create a world that aligns with your values and aspirations. The quest to understand hidden agendas is a lifelong journey, a continuous process of learning, observing, and adapting. It requires a willingness to question assumptions, to challenge conventional wisdom, and to see beyond the surface. It demands a commitment to self-reflection, to examining your own motivations and biases, and to acknowledging your own vulnerabilities. It is through this process of self-discovery that you can truly understand the hidden agendas of others and navigate the social landscape with confidence and integrity. Consider also the influence of societal norms and cultural expectations. Often, hidden agendas are not individualistic pursuits, but are instead reinforced by the broader social context. The pressure to conform, to succeed, to maintain a certain image can drive individuals to engage in behaviors that mask their true intentions. The politician who promises one thing while secretly pursuing another, the corporate executive who prioritizes profits over people, the social media influencer who curates a perfect life while struggling with inner turmoil. All are examples of how societal pressures can fuel the creation and perpetuation of hidden agendas. To truly understand these dynamics, we must consider the systemic forces that shape individual behavior. We must analyze the power structures that incentivize manipulation and deception. We must challenge the norms that reward superficiality and punish authenticity. Only by addressing these underlying issues can we hope to create a more transparent and equitable society, one where hidden agendas are less prevalent and where individuals are free to express themselves honestly and authentically. The power of observation is also paramount. Sharpening your ability to observe nonverbal cues, such as facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice, can provide valuable insights into the hidden agendas of others. Microexpressions, fleeting facial expressions that reveal underlying emotions, can betray a person's true feelings even when they are trying to conceal them. A subtle tightening of the lips, a brief furrowing of the brow, a momentary flicker of fear in the eyes, these microexpressions can offer clues to a person's hidden thoughts and intentions. Similarly, body language can reveal a great deal about a person's true state of mind. Crossed arms might indicate defensiveness or resistance, while fidgeting hands might suggest anxiety or nervousness. A person's tone of voice can also provide valuable information. A sarcastic tone might indicate hostility or resentment, while a hesitant tone might suggest uncertainty or deception. By paying close attention to these nonverbal cues, you can gain a deeper understanding of the hidden agendas of others and make more informed decisions about how to interact with them. However, it is important to avoid jumping to conclusions based solely on nonverbal cues. Context is crucial. A person's body language or tone of voice might be influenced by a variety of factors, such as stress, fatigue, or cultural differences. It is important to consider the overall situation and to look for patterns of behavior before drawing any definitive conclusions. The art of reading hidden agendas is a delicate balance between observation, analysis, and intuition. It requires a keen eye, a sharp mind, and a compassionate heart. It is not about judging others or assuming the worst, but about understanding the complexities of human nature and navigating the social landscape with greater awareness and empathy. It is about empowering yourself to make informed decisions, to protect yourself from manipulation, and to build stronger, more authentic relationships. Let's consider a scenario. Imagine you're in a negotiation for a new job. The hiring manager, let's call her Ms. Evans, seems friendly and enthusiastic. She praises your resume, highlights the company's culture, and paints a rosy picture of your potential future there. She leans forward, makes consistent eye contact, and uses open hand gestures, all textbook signs of trustworthiness and sincerity. But beneath this carefully constructed facade lies a hidden agenda, one that could significantly impact your career trajectory. Ms. Evans's real goal isn't necessarily to find the best candidate for the job, but to fill the position quickly and cheaply. The company is under pressure to cut costs, and she's been tasked with finding someone who will accept a lower salary and fewer benefits than originally budgeted. She knows that if she reveals this information up front, she'll have a hard time attracting qualified candidates. So she employs a subtle yet manipulative strategy to achieve her goal. She downplays the challenges of the role, exaggerates the opportunities for advancement, and creates a sense of urgency to pressure you into accepting the offer quickly. She might say things like, "We're looking to fill this position as soon as possible," or "We have several other candidates who are very interested." These statements are designed to create a fear of missing out and to discourage you from negotiating for a better package. Furthermore, she uses emotional appeals to manipulate your desire for validation and belonging. She praises your skills and experience, making you feel like you're the perfect fit for the company. She talks about the company's family-like culture and emphasizes the importance of teamwork and collaboration. By appealing to your emotions, she hopes to create a sense of loyalty and obligation that will make you more likely to accept her offer, even if it's not in your best interest. The subtle clues are there, if you know how to look for them. Notice how she deflects your questions about salary expectations with vague answers like, "We offer a competitive package," or "We're willing to work with the right candidate." Pay attention to her body language when you bring up the topic of benefits. Does she become slightly less enthusiastic? Does she avoid direct eye contact? These are all potential signs that she's hiding something. Moreover, analyze the power dynamics in the room. She sits behind a large desk, creating a physical barrier between you. She controls the flow of the conversation, interrupting you frequently and steering the discussion away from topics she doesn't want to address. She uses subtle language patterns to assert her dominance, such as using your first name while she refers to her superiors by their formal titles. These power plays are designed to make you feel less confident and more willing to defer to her authority. The ability to detect these hidden agendas requires a sharp awareness of social dynamics and a willingness to question the surface-level narrative. It's about recognizing that people often have ulterior motives that they're not willing to reveal directly. It's about understanding that communication is not just about what is said, but also about what is left unsaid. In this scenario, understanding Ms. Evans's hidden agenda allows you to make a more informed decision about whether to accept the job offer. You might choose to negotiate more aggressively for a better package, or you might decide to walk away and pursue other opportunities. The key is to empower yourself with knowledge and to avoid being manipulated into making a decision that you'll later regret. It also illustrates that sometimes the most convincing smiles hide the sharpest teeth. The truly weak, however, stumble blindly into these carefully constructed traps. They accept everything at face value, failing to question the underlying motives or the subtle cues that betray the true agenda. They are easily swayed by charm and flattery, unable to see through the veneer of politeness to the calculated manipulation beneath. They are afraid to challenge authority, even when their instincts tell them something is wrong, and they prioritize being liked over being respected. They become pawns in someone else's game, sacrificing their own interests for the sake of maintaining a false sense of harmony. This weakness stems from a fundamental lack of self-awareness. They don't understand their own values, needs, and boundaries, which makes them vulnerable to exploitation. They don't recognize their own strengths and weaknesses, which prevents them from asserting themselves effectively. They don't understand how they are perceived by others, which makes them blind to the subtle social signals that reveal hidden intentions. This lack of self-awareness is often coupled with a deep-seated fear of conflict. They avoid confrontation at all costs, even when it means sacrificing their own well-being. They are afraid of being disliked, rejected, or criticized, and they will go to great lengths to avoid these perceived threats. This fear of conflict makes them hesitant to question authority, to challenge the status quo, or to assert their own needs. They would rather remain silent and suffer in silence than risk upsetting the apple cart. Furthermore, the weak often lack the critical thinking skills necessary to analyze complex social situations. They accept information passively, without questioning its validity or considering alternative perspectives. They are easily influenced by biased sources, propaganda, and emotional appeals. They are unable to distinguish between facts and opinions, or to identify logical fallacies in arguments. This lack of critical thinking skills makes them easy targets for manipulation. Someone with a hidden agenda can easily exploit their biases, fears, and insecurities to achieve their own goals. They may use carefully crafted arguments, emotional appeals, or misleading information to persuade the weak to accept their point of view. They may also use social pressure, intimidation, or threats to silence dissent. In addition to lacking self-awareness and critical thinking skills, the weak often struggle with impulse control. They act rashly, without thinking through the consequences of their actions. They are easily provoked by anger, frustration, or fear, and they are quick to lash out at others. This lack of impulse control makes them unpredictable and unreliable. Someone with a hidden agenda can exploit their impulsive nature to manipulate them into making rash decisions that they will later regret. They may use provocation, threats, or emotional appeals to trigger an impulsive reaction. They may also create a sense of urgency to pressure the weak into making a quick decision without considering the consequences. The trap, therefore, is not a single event, but a confluence of vulnerabilities. It is a perfect storm of self-doubt, fear, and naivete that leaves the individual defenseless against those who would exploit them. Recognizing these patterns of weakness, both in yourself and in others, is the first step toward dismantling the trap. It requires a commitment to self-reflection, critical thinking, and courageous action. It demands that you cultivate a strong sense of self-worth, a willingness to challenge authority, and the ability to resist manipulation. It means prioritizing your own well-being over the approval of others, and learning to walk away from situations that compromise your values. The alternative, of course, is to continue playing the role of the pawn, forever dancing to the tune of someone else's agenda, and that is a game no one can ever truly win. To truly master the art of reading hidden agendas, one must adopt a Machiavellian approach, understanding that people often operate from a position of self-interest, even when they mask it with altruistic intentions. The first principle of this strategy is to assume nothing. Never take someone's words at face value. Always consider the potential motivations behind their actions and statements. This doesn't mean becoming paranoid or distrustful of everyone, but rather developing a healthy skepticism that allows you to evaluate information objectively. Analyze their history, their past behavior, and the relationships they maintain. Look for patterns that might reveal their true character and underlying goals. For example, someone who consistently praises others excessively might be seeking validation or trying to manipulate them into granting favors. Someone who frequently interrupts conversations might be trying to assert dominance or control the narrative. Observing these patterns over time will provide valuable insights into their true agenda. Another key aspect of the Machiavellian approach is to understand the power dynamics at play in any given situation. Who holds the power? Who is seeking to gain power? And how are they attempting to achieve their goals? Power can manifest in various forms, including financial resources, social influence, knowledge, or even physical strength. Recognizing these different forms of power will help you understand the motivations of those involved. Someone who seeks to gain power might use tactics such as flattery, intimidation, or even outright deception to achieve their objectives. Understanding the power dynamics will allow you to anticipate their moves and develop strategies to protect yourself. You must also assess the potential vulnerabilities of others. Everyone has weaknesses, whether they are aware of them or not. These vulnerabilities can be exploited by those with hidden agendas. Some people are driven by a need for approval, others by a fear of rejection, and still others by a desire for material wealth. Identifying these vulnerabilities will help you understand how someone might be manipulated. A manipulator might target someone's insecurity by offering them validation and praise, or they might exploit their fear of failure by threatening to expose their weaknesses. Furthermore, it is crucial to develop your own emotional intelligence. This involves understanding your own emotions and how they might be manipulated by others. If you are aware of your own biases, fears, and desires, you are less likely to fall victim to manipulative tactics. For example, if you know that you are easily flattered, you can be more wary of those who lavish you with praise. If you know that you are afraid of conflict, you can be more assertive in defending your boundaries. Emotional intelligence also involves understanding the emotions of others. By paying attention to their body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice, you can gain insights into their true feelings and intentions. Someone who is lying might avoid eye contact, fidget nervously, or speak in a hesitant tone. Someone who is angry might clench their fists, furrow their brow, or raise their voice. These subtle cues can provide valuable information about their hidden agenda. Moreover, hone your ability to ask probing questions. Don't be afraid to challenge assumptions or demand clarification. The more information you gather, the better equipped you will be to assess someone's true intentions. Ask open-ended questions that require more than a simple yes or no answer. For example, instead of asking, "Do you agree with this plan?" ask, "What are your thoughts on this plan and its potential impact?" These types of questions will encourage the other person to elaborate on their reasoning and reveal their underlying assumptions. Pay close attention to their answers. Do they answer directly or do they evade the question? Do their answers align with their actions? Do they provide logical explanations or do they rely on emotional appeals? By carefully analyzing their responses, you can uncover inconsistencies or hidden motives. Be prepared to play the long game. Uncovering hidden agendas often takes time and patience. It requires building trust, gathering information, and observing patterns over time. Don't expect to uncover someone's true intentions overnight. Be willing to invest the time and effort required to build a complete picture. Understand that sometimes the most effective strategy is to simply remove yourself from the situation. If you suspect that someone has a hidden agenda and you are unable to determine their true intentions, it may be best to simply walk away. Your peace of mind and well-being are more important than trying to unravel a complex web of deception. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore your intuition. It is often a valuable source of information that can help you protect yourself from manipulation. Consider also that those with hidden agendas often rely on creating confusion and uncertainty. They might use ambiguous language, contradictory statements, or manipulative tactics to keep you off balance and prevent you from seeing the truth. Therefore, strive for clarity in all your interactions. Ask for specific details, demand clear explanations, and don't be afraid to challenge inconsistencies. The more clarity you can create, the more difficult it will be for someone to manipulate you. Finally, always remember that you have the right to say no. You are not obligated to do anything that makes you uncomfortable or that goes against your values. Don't allow yourself to be pressured or coerced into making decisions that you will later regret. Assert your boundaries and protect your own interests. The Machiavellian approach is not about becoming a manipulative person yourself. It is about understanding how manipulation works so that you can protect yourself from being exploited by others. By developing a keen awareness of human nature, understanding power dynamics, and honing your emotional intelligence, you can become a master of reading hidden agendas and navigating the complex social landscape with confidence and skill. This ultimately transforms you from a pawn into a player, capable of shaping your own destiny. Think of reading hidden agendas like studying the rise and fall of empires. Every empire, from the Roman Empire to more recent global powers, had its public face, its declared intentions, its grand pronouncements of peace and prosperity. But beneath the surface, a constant game of maneuvering, alliances, betrayals, and power grabs was always in play. To truly understand the trajectory of an empire, you couldn't just listen to the official narrative. You had to analyze the hidden agendas of its leaders, the unspoken deals, the secret wars fought in the shadows, the subtle shifts in alliances that ultimately determined its fate. Similarly, in everyday interactions, people often present a carefully constructed image of themselves and their intentions. They might claim to be acting in your best interest or seeking a mutually beneficial outcome, but their true motives could be far more complex and self-serving. Learning to see beyond the surface, to decipher the hidden agendas that drive people's actions, is essential for navigating the social landscape successfully and protecting yourself from being exploited. Just as a historian dissects primary sources, cross-references accounts, and analyzes the underlying power dynamics to understand the true story of an empire, you need to develop your own analytical skills to understand the motivations of the people you interact with. This involves paying close attention to their words, their body language, and their actions, while also considering their past behavior, their known biases, and their potential motivations. Look for inconsistencies between what they say and what they do. Observe how they react under pressure, and pay attention to the subtle cues that reveal their true feelings and intentions. Remember, empires weren't built on honesty alone, and neither are most human relationships. Consider also the analogy of warfare. In any military conflict, each side has its stated objectives, its publicly declared reasons for engaging in hostilities. But behind the scenes, a complex web of strategies, tactics, and deceptions is always at play. Military leaders are constantly trying to anticipate their opponent's moves, to identify their weaknesses, and to exploit their vulnerabilities. They use intelligence gathering, reconnaissance, and espionage to uncover the enemy's hidden plans and intentions. They employ camouflage, disinformation, and psychological warfare to mislead the enemy and gain a strategic advantage. Similarly, in social interactions, people often engage in subtle forms of warfare, using various tactics to influence, persuade, or manipulate others. They might use flattery, guilt-tripping, or intimidation to get what they want. They might try to undermine your confidence, sabotage your efforts, or turn others against you. To protect yourself from these tactics, you need to be aware of the different forms of manipulation that people use, and you need to develop your own strategies for countering them. This means being assertive, setting boundaries, and refusing to be drawn into their games. It also means being able to recognize when someone is trying to deceive you and having the courage to call them out on their behavior. Remember, the battlefield is not always a physical place. Sometimes, it's the conference room, the dinner table, or even a seemingly casual conversation. Knowing how to read the terrain, anticipate the enemy's moves, and defend yourself against attack is crucial for survival in any social environment. Furthermore, just as military strategists study past battles to learn from the mistakes and successes of others, you can learn from your own past experiences and the experiences of others to improve your ability to read hidden agendas. Reflect on situations where you felt manipulated or taken advantage of, and try to identify the specific tactics that were used against you. Analyze the motivations of the person who was trying to manipulate you, and consider what they were hoping to gain. Talk to others about their experiences and learn from their insights. The more you study the dynamics of social manipulation, the better you will become at recognizing the warning signs and protecting yourself from being exploited. Think of each interaction as a learning opportunity, a chance to hone your skills and refine your understanding of human nature. Over time, you will develop a sort of sixth sense for detecting hidden agendas, an intuitive ability to see beyond the surface and understand what people are really thinking and feeling. This will not only help you protect yourself from manipulation, but it will also give you a significant advantage in all your social interactions, allowing you to build stronger relationships, negotiate more effectively, and achieve your goals with greater ease. Finally, remember that reading hidden agendas is not about becoming paranoid or suspicious of everyone you meet. It's about developing a healthy skepticism, a willingness to question assumptions, and a commitment to seeking the truth. It's about understanding that people are complex and that their motivations are not always what they seem. By developing your analytical skills, honing your emotional intelligence, and learning from your past experiences, you can become a master of reading hidden agendas and navigating the social landscape with confidence and skill. This will not only empower you to protect yourself from manipulation, but it will also enable you to build stronger relationships, achieve your goals, and live a more fulfilling life. The ultimate goal is not to see the worst in everyone, but to see the truth, both the good and the bad, so that you can make informed decisions and act in your own best interest. This heightened awareness allows you to move through the world with greater clarity, purpose, and control, becoming a more astute and empowered individual. The human mind is a complex landscape of conscious and unconscious desires, fears, and motivations. Hidden agendas often stem from these deeply rooted psychological drivers, acting as unseen forces shaping behavior and communication. Understanding these underlying motivations is critical to detecting hidden agendas. People rarely state their true intentions directly, often masking them behind socially acceptable facades or calculated strategies. This is where the art of psychological decoding comes into play, requiring a nuanced understanding of human nature and the ability to interpret subtle cues that betray true intentions. The desire for power, control, validation, or even simply avoiding discomfort can all fuel hidden agendas. Someone might agree with your ideas publicly to gain favor, while privately plotting to undermine you. They might offer help with a seemingly generous motive, but actually be looking to gain access to sensitive information or resources. Identifying these underlying motivations requires a shift in perspective, moving beyond surface-level interactions to analyze the psychological drivers behind the actions. This involves paying close attention to inconsistencies between words and actions, identifying emotional triggers, and understanding an individual's past behavior patterns. If someone consistently seeks validation from authority figures, their seemingly helpful suggestions might be driven by a hidden agenda to impress their superiors. If someone becomes defensive when questioned about their past actions, it might indicate a hidden agenda related to concealing past mistakes or wrongdoings. By developing this psychological awareness, you gain a powerful tool for deciphering the complex social dynamics at play, enabling you to anticipate and navigate hidden agendas with greater confidence. Moreover, cognitive biases play a significant role in the formation and concealment of hidden agendas. Confirmation bias, for example, leads individuals to seek out information that confirms their existing beliefs, even if those beliefs are based on incomplete or inaccurate information. This can contribute to the development of hidden agendas as people selectively interpret information to support their desired outcome, ignoring evidence that contradicts it. The halo effect, another common bias, causes us to form a positive impression of someone based on a single positive trait, such as attractiveness or charisma. This can blind us to their potential hidden agendas, as we are more likely to trust and accept their actions without questioning their motives. Similarly, the availability heuristic leads us to overestimate the likelihood of events that are easily recalled, such as dramatic or emotionally charged incidents. This can lead to an exaggerated fear of certain threats or a distorted perception of risk, which can be exploited by individuals with hidden agendas to manipulate our behavior. Understanding these cognitive biases is crucial for protecting yourself from manipulation, as it allows you to recognize and counteract the ways in which your own thinking can be distorted. By becoming aware of these biases, you can develop a more objective and rational approach to social interactions, making it more difficult for others to exploit your vulnerabilities. Furthermore, emotional intelligence is a vital component of reading hidden agendas, involving the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. By developing your emotional awareness, you can become more attuned to the subtle nonverbal cues that often betray hidden agendas. Facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and even microexpressions can provide valuable insights into a person's true feelings and intentions. For example, a slight furrowing of the brow might indicate doubt or disagreement, even if someone is verbally expressing agreement. A subtle shift in posture might reveal discomfort or defensiveness, even if someone is trying to appear confident and relaxed. By paying attention to these nonverbal cues, you can gain a more complete understanding of what someone is really thinking and feeling, allowing you to detect discrepancies between their words and their emotions. Emotional intelligence also involves empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. By putting yourself in someone else's shoes, you can gain a deeper understanding of their motivations and the pressures they might be facing. This can help you to identify potential hidden agendas that might be driven by fear, insecurity, or a desire to protect themselves or others. Another crucial aspect of understanding hidden agendas involves recognizing the role of social conditioning and cultural norms. Many societies have unwritten rules and expectations that govern social behavior, shaping the way people communicate and interact with each other. These social norms can influence the way hidden agendas are formed and concealed, as people often adapt their behavior to conform to social expectations. For example, in some cultures, it is considered impolite to express disagreement directly, leading people to use indirect language or passive-aggressive behavior to convey their true feelings. In other cultures, displays of vulnerability are seen as a sign of weakness, leading people to mask their emotions and conceal their true intentions. Understanding these cultural nuances is essential for interpreting social cues accurately and detecting hidden agendas in different cultural contexts. Additionally, social conditioning can influence our own perceptions and biases, making us more susceptible to manipulation. For example, if we have been raised to believe that authority figures are always trustworthy, we might be less likely to question their motives or detect their hidden agendas. By becoming aware of these social and cultural influences, we can develop a more critical and nuanced understanding of human behavior, allowing us to navigate social interactions with greater awareness and discernment. Finally, the ability to detect hidden agendas requires ongoing practice and self-reflection. It is not a skill that can be mastered overnight, but rather a continuous process of learning and refinement. By paying attention to your own experiences, analyzing your interactions with others, and seeking feedback from trusted sources, you can gradually improve your ability to read people and identify hidden agendas. Keeping a journal of your observations and reflections can be a valuable tool for tracking your progress and identifying patterns in your own thinking and behavior. It is also important to be open to the possibility that you might be wrong about someone's intentions, and to be willing to revise your assumptions as you gather new information. Humility and a willingness to learn are essential for developing the sixth sense for detecting hidden agendas. Remember that the goal is not to become cynical or distrustful of everyone you meet, but rather to develop a healthy skepticism and a commitment to seeking the truth. By approaching social interactions with curiosity and a willingness to learn, you can become a more astute and perceptive individual, capable of navigating the complexities of human relationships with greater confidence and skill. This heightened awareness not only protects you from manipulation, but also empowers you to build stronger, more authentic connections with others. Reading hidden agendas is not about becoming a paranoid recluse, forever suspicious of every smile and handshake. It's about understanding that human interaction at its core is a complex dance of needs, desires, and unspoken strategies. People rarely say exactly what they mean or reveal their true motivations up front. They are driven by a multitude of factors, conscious and unconscious, that shape their words and actions. Learning to decipher these underlying forces is the key to unlocking the hidden agendas that drive so much of human behavior. It's about becoming a student of human nature, observing patterns, and connecting the dots between seemingly unrelated actions and statements. You begin to notice the subtle discrepancies between what people say and what they do, the micro-expressions that betray their true feelings, and the inconsistencies in their stories. This is not about mind reading, but about developing a heightened awareness of the signals people are constantly emitting, often without realizing it. It requires cultivating a certain detachment, an ability to observe social interactions from a distance, as if you were watching a play unfold on a stage. Don't get caught up in the emotional currents of the moment. Maintain a cool, analytical perspective. Consider the speaker's history, their relationships, their known motivations, and the context in which the interaction is taking place. All of these factors contribute to the formation of hidden agendas, and by understanding them, you can begin to anticipate the moves your opponents will make. Think of it as a game of chess. Each player has a goal, and each move is designed to achieve that goal, even if the goal is not explicitly stated. Your job is to figure out what the other player's goal is and to anticipate their moves before they are made. This requires careful observation, strategic thinking, and a willingness to challenge your own assumptions. You must be prepared to be wrong and to learn from your mistakes. The more you practice, the better you will become at reading people, at detecting hidden agendas, and at navigating the complex social landscape with confidence and skill. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about the hidden agendas that drive human behavior, the better equipped you will be to protect yourself, to achieve your own goals, and to build stronger, more authentic relationships with others. The key to mastering this skill lies not just in observing others, but also in understanding yourself. Your own biases, insecurities, and desires can cloud your judgment and make you vulnerable to manipulation. You must be aware of your own weaknesses and be willing to confront them. Ask yourself, what are your blind spots? What are the things that people can easily exploit? What are your emotional triggers? By understanding your own vulnerabilities, you can better protect yourself from those who would seek to exploit them. This is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. It takes courage to confront your own flaws and to work to overcome them, but the rewards are well worth the effort. As you become more self-aware, you will also become more perceptive of others. You will be better able to see through their masks and to understand their true intentions. Remember, the game is played on many levels, both conscious and unconscious. The more you understand the rules of the game, the better you will be able to play it. This is not about becoming a master manipulator yourself, but about becoming a master of self-defense. It's about protecting yourself from those who would seek to take advantage of you, and about ensuring that your own needs and desires are met. The ability to detect hidden agendas is a powerful tool, but it must be used responsibly. It is not a license to judge or to condemn others, but rather a means of understanding them. Use this knowledge to build bridges, not walls. Use it to create more authentic relationships, not to manipulate others. The ultimate goal is not to win the game, but to create a more just and equitable world for everyone. Consider your environment. The setting itself can be a rich source of clues about hidden agendas. Is it a high-pressure sales environment where commissions incentivize deception? Is it a political arena where image and perception are paramount? Is it a family gathering where old grudges simmer beneath the surface of polite conversation? The physical space, the social norms, and the existing power dynamics all contribute to the likelihood of hidden agendas being at play. Furthermore, pay attention to the unspoken rules of engagement. Are there topics that are considered taboo? Are there power imbalances that discourage open communication? Are there unspoken alliances and rivalries that shape the dynamics of the interaction? These subtle cues can provide valuable insights into the hidden agendas of those involved. For instance, a sudden change in topic, an overly enthusiastic agreement, or a carefully worded compliment could all be signs of a hidden agenda at work. The key is to be observant, to be curious, and to be willing to question the surface appearances. Don't take anything at face value. Always ask yourself, what is really going on here? What are the underlying motivations of the people involved? What are the unspoken rules of the game? By asking these questions, you can begin to peel back the layers of deception and to uncover the hidden agendas that drive human behavior. This is not about being cynical, but about being realistic. The world is a complex and often deceptive place, and the ability to detect hidden agendas is an essential skill for navigating it successfully. And finally, remember that the best way to uncover a hidden agenda is often to ask direct questions. While indirect observation is valuable, sometimes the most effective approach is to simply ask the person what they want. This can be a risky strategy, as it may reveal your suspicions and cause the other person to become defensive. However, it can also be surprisingly effective, particularly if you frame your questions in a non-threatening way. Instead of accusing someone of having a hidden agenda, try asking them about their motivations, their goals, or their concerns. For example, you might say something like, "I'm curious to understand what you're hoping to achieve with this proposal." Or, "What are the potential downsides of this approach?" By asking open-ended questions, you can encourage the other person to reveal their true intentions, even if they are initially hesitant to do so. Of course, you must be prepared to listen carefully to their answers and to assess their credibility. Pay attention to their body language, their tone of voice, and the consistency of their story. If you detect any signs of deception, don't be afraid to press them further. The key is to be persistent, but also respectful. Remember, the goal is not to trap the other person in a lie, but to understand their true intentions. By approaching the situation with curiosity and a willingness to listen, you can often uncover hidden agendas that would otherwise remain concealed. This is not always easy, but it is almost always worth the effort. The more you know about the hidden agendas of others, the better equipped you will be to protect yourself, to achieve your own goals, and to